Hey there. How's it going? Welcome to From the Logo. Welcome to the pod. Today we're going to talk about some MVP candidates. Start off a series of videos talking about MVP candidates. I designed this whole thing so we could talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander today. I've been wanting to discuss him a little bit the last few weeks. I've been watching the Thunder with a curious eye. And he is one of the main reasons, not to mention also Chet and J Dub and the stacked roster they've got over there. But it's all centered around Shea. Am I missing somebody?
No, I just heard you say something called stacked roster. That already makes me think, but go ahead, continue.
Colton's gonna try to figure out a way to bring this around to the Blazers. I can already
No,
tell.
no, 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 I'm not. But you just go ahead. Just you'll see.
Also, Giddy. Shout out Giddy too. That guy can definitely play
No charges.
on the court.
No charges officially announced today.
Really.
Better or worse. That's the news.
Congratulations, Giddy. Shea's averaging this year 31 points. Last year he averaged 31.4. And I remember us specifically having a conversation kind of based around whether or not he could keep up these stats with Chet and other players coming in and keep up those stats on a winning team. And right now are they still tied for number one? They're right up there with the Timberwolves for number one in the West. And the dude is pretty much putting up the same numbers he did last year. Little uptick in assists from 6.3 to 5.5, little uptick in rebounds by about one per game. Uh, Shooting about the same. Free throw percentage, 3-point percentage dipped a little bit, but just from 34 to 32%. But his overall field goal percentage jumped from 51 to 55% so far this year. The dude is making 11 field goals out of 20 attempts, which that's one of the things that interests me so much about Shea in a league where it's so based around 3-point shooting. At least, the last 10 years or so have been so based around 3-point shooting and spreading the floor and kind of the hardened ball of either taking the three or getting to the hoop. This dude excels in the mid range. His pull up game is immaculate. Spin moves in the paint, the quick drive and pull up, can also get to the hoop.
The head
Watching
snap to get the whistle.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, he's getting to the line 8.5 times per game this year, which is less than he was getting to the line 11 times last year. But there's a reason. I don't think it's just ref ball. He's one of the quickest guys in the league. After watching him, I mean, he just blows by everybody faster than almost anybody, any defender getting to the rim, and he really seems to be driving this team forward. I'm curious to see how far they can go with this young but very loaded roster.
Yeah, I mean, Western Conference Player of the Month for December, and he's really kept it going into January too. He doesn't show a whole lot of signs of slowing down. The one thing, with him and with the team generally, yeah, I always think MVP should be best player on the best team. That's always been the approach I've taken. Now, I don't know that OKC is going to be the best team this year because they do have that youth issue. The last couple of nights they've looked pretty human against the LA teams. They've lost a couple in a row, but just generally, I mean, obviously the team is looking really good for this year, and he's the reason why. He's what they're built around. So, yeah, I definitely think he's showing that he has the ability to be the best player on that team. The question is whether that team is for real, for real, the best team in the West or not. Put up against some of the more experienced teams, it definitely seems like he struggles a little bit more. They can scheme for him a little bit because he can't exactly spread out as much. He takes 20 shots a game and two of them are threes. He's not much of an outside shooter, which is fine. You don't have to be. Like you said, his mid-range game is incredible, but it does limit you maybe a little bit. So, anyway, definitely something to keep an eye on for the rest of the year is whether he can keep that speed up and or whether teams are able to scheme for him a little bit.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and we talked about it last year, like you said, and we said, can he keep this up on a winning team? You already broke that part down, but and it's proven that he has been. You said it. I think the roster is pretty stacked. And does that take away from what he's doing? No, it doesn't. But I always like to frame that as a reference point for guys that have drugged their teams like as an MVP in the past. Like Jokic, while you can make the case for Jamal Murray and things like that, I really think that a guy like Chet Holmgren, who in my opinion should be the runaway rookie of the year, J-Dub is out there. You said it, Giddy, Dort, and all MVPs have talented rosters most of the time because I just said all and then most, but you get my point. Of their teams have to be good, and there's a reason for that. So there's good players on the team, but at what point are we saying is it because of the roster around him? Because last year was a pretty similar roster, so I guess I'm talking myself out of my own point.
Are you talking about? I'm curious. Are you talking about the winning?
No, I'm just saying, how is he the best player in the league? Because Riley said best player, best team. I'm saying, is he the best player in the league? Because that's what I look at MVP as. And if your team's not making the playoffs, then that's one thing. But a couple seasons back when Russell Westbrook won it, this is I guess more than a couple now. Was he the best player on the best team? I don't know. And he wasn't the best player on the best team. Was he the best player in the league? I still don't know that. He just had a lot of statistical dominance. But I guess I have to figure out what my criteria is on this because I'm kind of in the middle. I really love what he's been doing, but is his team winning because of all the stacked roster around him, or he is the main part, but which is it? You know what I mean? I still have Jokic as the MVP. I still think that right now I put Jokic above him, but it's tough to deny how talented he is. And I think that if it's not this year to be his year to be the MVP, he could easily win it in the next couple years. He's growing. He's still heading towards his prime. So I'm not disparaging him at all by saying he has a good team. It's just he does have a really good team around him.
Riley, you mentioned the Los Angeles Clippers. That made me start to wonder, do you guys think the Clippers regret trading him? They obviously got PG-13 out of the deal, and right now they're looking like a legitimate title contender. But I don't really think they knew what they were giving up when they traded SGA. I think they thought that they were giving up a solid, super athletic young guard with a lot of upside, but I don't think they knew they were giving up a 30-point per game guy who's going to be an MVP candidate on a championship contender.
Yeah, I think both of those things might simultaneously be true. I think that they didn't know quite what they were giving up, but at the same time, I think they probably got what they wanted out of the deal, because they definitely were going for a win now kind of a mentality. PG-13, Kawhi Leonard, but for some reason they think Russell Westbrook is going to help a team win. I don't know, but
James Harden.
and James
It's
Harden.
working.
Yeah,
But
it
right
has
now
been
they
working
look
so
good.
far.
Yeah, right now they look like that veteran cohesion is working out for them, and they're even beating teams like OKC. So yeah, I think that LA probably got what they wanted out of the deal. They made a decision to go try to win now, a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean they might in the future they might regret it a little bit. They might regret that they gave up on him and went for winning now, especially because it remains to be seen whether they actually can win now, if it's championship or bust. I don't know that they're a championship team because they do have James Harden and Russell Westbrook on their team, but they got what they wanted out of it. They're probably okay with it.
Yeah, Riley, you kind of nailed my point. I think that they didn't know what they were giving up, but also I think they got everything they could have wanted. They made a push into the conference finals, their first as a franchise, and then with injuries, as always with the Clippers. But you look at the standings right now, they're one game behind the Thunder. And they, like you said, they beat them. They could just as easily pass them this season. And while they're a veteran-laden team, they were going all in. That's what we wanted, teams like the Blazers to do, to go all in on and get a guy like Paul George, an athletic two-way wing who, yes, there's been injury problems with him and Kawhi, but I think you got to go all in when you have the pieces. And they at least went in for someone like Paul George rather than someone like, as Blazer fans know, Robert Covington. So I think that, yes, I think it was worth it for them to take that shot. I think they still have a shot to win it this year, even with Harden, even with Westbrook. But I think the Thunder are poised to be such a problem for the future that the Thunder are static too. And the Thunder just have a million picks still. They can still go all in to build more around, SGA and whoever they want. I'm assuming they're going to keep Chet. They're exciting. And going into this year, we talked about it. That was the team that I was looking at watching. I didn't know the Timberwolves were going to be this good, but that's just another level as well. What about Anthony Edwards? I mean, do you guys think Anthony Edwards or Cat deserves to be in these talks? Because you don't hear a peep about those guys, but they're chugging along. Best record in the West. Riley, you said best team, best player. Cat MVP. Just saying.
I don't think the Timberwolves are
Tatum
the
right
best
now.
team
If we're
in the
looking
league.
if we're looking at best team in the league, best player, it'd be Jason Tatum. But taken away from the Clippers perspective, looking at OKC's, I think they're happy with that trade. I think that they probably won that trade, and they're gonna be just fine with it. Thanks everyone for tuning in to our first of many MVP discussions. This one featured on SGA. Let us know in the comments who you guys would like us to discuss next, who you think is going to win the MVP. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.